That when bad things happen in your life, you still need to be grateful to God that those things happened, because Target letting me go was a blessing that wasn't in disguise.
I've never felt so alive. Keep working until I die. I know what I want in life, and I'm gonna fight. I've never felt so alive.
Hey guys, it's Issa. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back if you are returning. Today I am going to be talking about my experience at Target, and I'm also going to be talking about why I got fired. When I originally made this video, because I did attempt to film this video before, I just didn't think that I should have put that video up. I'm just gonna be honest. I just want to state what happened and let you guys know that when bad things happen in your life, you still need to be grateful to God that those things happened, because, you know, Target letting me go was a blessing that wasn't in disguise. I felt like I was around such low vibrational people every day. Honestly, when they fired me, it was like a huge relief, which is why I say thank you. Thank you for firing me, because I now have something better in my life. To all those people that reached out to me and asked me if I'm okay, like, people went around asking for my number to ask me if I'm okay. Like, thank you so much. I am doing fine. I'm actually going to be starting my new job this week, and I feel like I am going to be super in love with this new job. So when I first initially started working at Target, I wasn't planning on working at Target. The way I actually started working at Target was when one day my friend and I went to Target. Mind you, I don't really shop at Target like that. I never shopped at Target prior to, you know, working there. I can't say that I never shopped there before, but it just wasn't a place where I really shopped until I started working there. So my friend wanted to go to Target. I think it was like back to school season or homecoming season or something like that. I remember it was in October, and she just happened to be in Raleigh at the time. And I just remember that I just kept saying I needed a job. I needed a job. Oh my God, I needed a job. And you know, I was just whining to her. Like, I was like, I need a job, I need a job, I need a job, I need a job. She looks on the window or something like that. I don't know if we were out. Oh yeah, the window, it said that we're hiring, or the entrance said that we're hiring, or now hiring. And then she was like, oh look, here's a flyer, take a flyer, girl. You want a job? Here you go. Like, so I was like, you know what, Target's applications are too long, and you know, I've applied to Target before and I didn't get accepted. So at this point, I was just like, whatever, I'll get to it when I get to it. And about a week later, I applied to Target, and I sat down, I did the whole application process, and I did what I needed to do. They were having open interviews since, you know, it was like the Christmas season, you know, and Halloween was almost over. Right around the corner was Thanksgiving and then Christmas, and they needed people there for Thanksgiving and Christmas and seasonal positions. I went to the interview. They had 2 interviews on the same day by 2 different people, and I got hired on the spot. The position that I had applied for was in the electronics area, but when I started speaking to them about my experience, and when I started speaking to them about my interests and things of that nature, they were like, you were better suited in the beauty department as opposed to the electronics section, and the beauty department is actually not a temporary job, so this is actually, you know, you can keep this job after the seasons are over. So I was just like, I was only coming in here to get a job, you know, so I could turn up for my birthday and stuff like that. And then I was actually gonna look for another job. I applied for the job. They put me in the beauty department, and at first it was amazing. This is going to be a video right here to tell you guys the truth about what happened. So from this point on, if anybody asks me about what happened at Target, if anybody asks me, you know, what was the reason you got fired, I'm going to just direct them to this video. There's 5 people working in my department, or there was 5 of us. I was cool with everyone, you know what I'm saying, except this one girl in my department. And at first she was cool, but you know how your womanly intuition just kicks in? Mine kicked in very, very quickly, because I just know when somebody is going to be a problem. I just know, because I'm me, like, you know. And if I don't get along with you, the majority of the time of people that I do not get along with, it's not me, it's them, because I'm a social person. So I love people. I love being around people. Like, I literally will talk to anyone that is in front of me if I had the chance. Like, I'm gonna call her Snire, you know, a snitch and a liar, and she snitched about lies, so that's Snire. And Snire, she was one of those people who, she's friendly and stuff like that, but she's one of those people that you don't trust. Like, you cannot trust her, because she is what we call a snake. She just, woo, God help me, you know what I'm saying? Help me, God, because I'm not about to go off on the type of person that she was. Let's just stick to the facts, you feel me? So Snire was cool, you know. She was showing me the ropes and stuff like that, kind of. I started to realize that Snire was a hater. She would go to the LODs, and she would go to whoever the top people were, the supervisors and stuff like that, and she would talk negatively to them. As a LOD, as a supervisor, and as a, not the HR really, but it was mostly the LODs and the supervisors that were talking, you did not maintain a certain level of professionalism within the workplace by talking to employees about other employees. And this is a habit that at this Target they really had. Now, on top of that, Snire had the habit of texting my phone to ask me questions about work. Who did this? So it was more like accusations, you know? And did you do this, or did you do that? Like, don't text me when I'm not at work to ask me who did what at what time. And I'm pretty sure when she was texting me these things, she was also going back, speaking about me to whoever the LODs were, trying to give them a bad perception of my name. And it worked. So, you know, I started noticing that she started talking about how, oh, I noticed that you always have your nails done. You always wear lip gloss. It just started to become a thing where she just started to become too observant on what I was doing, and she was worrying too much about me. She kept trying to change the schedule to her benefit. And this is where the problem started. This is the first time I got written up, and it didn't, I don't know if it went in the system or not, but I guess I was just given a warning because this stuff never came up again. But she kept trying to change the schedule to her convenience, and I was the first one to notice that she was doing this, because it came to a point where she rotated the whole schedule, where it got to the point where one day I had to take the day off so that she can pick up somebody else's shift, so that somebody else can pick up her shift, so that she can get a morning shift because she never wanted to close the store. And it just got very annoying at this point because, you know, she started to do it weekly, but then it got to a point where she was doing it daily to her convenience. And so one day, I know I should not have done this and I completely take the wrong, but I'm from New York and that doesn't excuse this behavior at all. We confront people and we just tell people like it is, and that's just done. One day, I sent her a text message. It wasn't a threat, it wasn't nothing like that, but I said, hey, I'm about to go to work soon. You know, could you just wait for me like 10 minutes because I want to talk to you? She responded and she said, no, you know, I got somewhere to be at 2:30. And I remember the text messages so vividly to this day. I can pull them up right now, but I'm not going to because, you know, I'm not gonna be petty, but I'm just telling you guys about it. And so it then became an issue because I was like, yo, I just want to speak to you real quick about, you know, what you're doing, and you trying to, you know, I don't know what you're trying to do. I went to the job on my day off, you know, and I wouldn't have been so upset if she didn't have the attitude when she was asking me to do her a favor. Remember this, because not only did she go to the LODs to speak negatively about me, she told them that I was lazy, that I always like found time to waste and all of that stuff like that. And she was over there kikiing while I was covering all of her shifts. Confronted her and I said, can I ask you something? She's like, I'm about to leave my break. I'm like, well, that's fine. I still gotta, this won't take long. This is not gonna take long. I'm just going to ask you, can you please stop texting my phone and asking me to cover your shifts and switch shifts with you? Because you have now made this a habit. So this girl starts clapping her hands like, oh my God, I didn't da 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 da. You know, the typical ratchetness that goes on. And so I said, calm down. Calm it all the way down, sis, because I don't know who you talking to. Did I yell at you? No, I didn't yell at you. I did not yell at you. I asked you politely to please stop, you know, texting my phone and asking me to cover your shifts from this point on, please and thank you. So she tones it down. She tones it all the way down. And I knew that this girl's ultimate goal was to get me fired. I knew she didn't like me. I knew she was a hater. And I didn't care at this point. After I confronted her, it was just like, whatever. And so then I addressed her about her speaking about me and mentioning my name to other co-workers and other, you know, supervisors and stuff like that. And she proceeded to, you know, tell me that she didn't say that, you know, clapping her hands again. And I'm just like, whatever, I'm just gonna go and speak to a supervisor, which is what I should have done in the first place to begin with, you know. So for you young people out there, you know, do not go confronting coworkers and stuff like that. That was a lesson I had to learn, you know, because you cannot bring the hood to your job environment, guys. Like, and that's a lesson that I had to learn, and I want all these young pretty females to learn from my mistakes. Okay, don't bring the hood to your job. This is your job, okay? She called me out of my name, but not to my face. You see, I just walked away from her, and then she called me out of my name. She waited for me to leave and then called me out of my name. So I was just like, whatever, this girl, she ain't even about it, you know. She ain't even about it. She's clearly a hater, so I just let her rock. But ever since that day, I needed to watch my back because I knew the type of person that she was. To this day, she started being even more of a snake. She went around again, still talking about me after this situation. And she started speaking to people, telling them she didn't feel safe working around me, you know, playing the victim, which was very smart. I'm not gonna lie, that was smart. Ladies, next time, play the victim, okay? A lot of people caught her drift because there was a few people who actually knew that she actually was out to get me because they would tell me. Another thing she did, she would kiss the supervisor's behind. So they would always be on her side. It didn't matter if she was in the wrong or in the right, you know. And so whatever I did was a problem, basically. Old HR was very cool in handling the situation. You know, he definitely pumped the brakes for a little bit. He was cool, and then he had to leave. He got offered a new position somewhere else. This supervisor, at first he was cool, but I felt like this supervisor was one of the supervisors that just tried too hard. He just started doing too much, you feel me? So he was from New York too. Problem started when he basically said that I don't look happy anymore at the job, you know. And I was like, well, you know what, after so much bullying, how can someone be happy at the job? You know, it just didn't make sense to me. So basically it got to a point where he started calling me into the office every day with a different issue. Still felt like as a supervisor he was still trying to kiki with Snyder. And there was also a new HR who nobody likes. I'm gonna just keep it a stack. Nobody likes the new HR. She was just doing too much, but we'll get to her in a second. So one day he comes to me and he was like, you know, there's something wrong with your attendance, you know, you've just been late, this and that, and I'm gonna start everybody off with a clean slate. Mind you, at this moment Target had started cutting down my hours, you know, and I was like, okay, you're cutting down my hours, so I'm gonna look for another job. So I found another job at Fridays, and working at Fridays was cool, but you know, when I got a second job at Fridays, Target seemed to have an issue with the fact that I was working at another job. Target says in their policy that, you know, you can have another job, you just have to let them know about it. They weren't willing to make adjustments for me at all, you know, and they weren't even trying to make adjustments for me when I had made a complaint to them the first time when the girl was switching around the schedule to her convenience, you know. Until this day, I'm pretty sure she still does it because she tried to do it once with me after that, and sis, no. Once I got my new job, they was definitely not trying to work or cooperate with me. That was the issue for them. I was just like, okay, whatever. I had to quit my other job. And he pulled me into the office not too long ago after I quit my other job to tell me that I had issues with attendance again, and that this is no longer a warning. I'm gonna write you up, and you know, if this happens again, basically he gave me a final warning that if I am late or absent one more time, that I was going to be fired. So I was like, okay, you know, I didn't even try to argue with him. It was just like, okay, whatever, you know. At this point, I already knew that they were trying to get me out. They have been trying to fire me since after Thanksgiving, so I wasn't really surprised. So I leave his office and I go back to doing my regulars. At this point, supervisor, we're like bumping heads, but it's not like we was fighting bumping heads. It was more like he just felt the need to follow me around the store and try to talk to me when he knew that I really didn't like him like that. Like, can you stay away from me, please? Like, he would literally stand in front of the work that I was supposed to be doing, and I'm just staring at him like, can you move? And then he would try to spark up conversation like, hey, how you doing? How was your day? How was your life outside of Target? Like, don't talk to me, please, because You know that I don't like you, so why are you trying to talk to me right now? You know, just a whole bunch of ridiculous stuff. So I was just like, I'm not gonna look happy in this place because you guys make it difficult for everybody. I felt like they were such low vibrational people. There were demonic spirits in there, which is why I had to cover myself with the blood of Jesus every time that I walked in there, because anyways, got called in the office again because apparently I was not doing a good enough job with the zone. I was not doing a good enough job with the push. I was not doing a good enough job with anything that I was doing in my department, you know. And I was just like, this is Snier going back to the office and letting people know, you know, quote unquote, that I'm not doing a good job, you know. Snyder was a very lazy person who left all of the work to the people who closed while she would just hang around and chill during the day. Let me just put it like that because I don't even want to drag this story along. It's already long enough. It comes a point where the new HR one day on a Saturday night followed me around the store as I was doing my work. You know, then I have to zone, then I have to take down all the ads because they put ads every Sunday, so we have to remove all the old ads every Saturday night. And the HR proceeds to follow me around the store. 2 hours before the store closes, she comes up to me and she was like, Issa, I'm gonna need you to do all of A tonight. Zone all of A, take down all the ads around A, which A is just the aisles and stuff like that, instead of just doing the beauty department. And I was just like, okay, why didn't she tell me this prior to, so I could have known that I wasn't just working in one department, you know, now I'm working in the whole department, you know. So as I'm getting my stuff done for my department, because that was another issue that we have at Target, that they would not want us to focus on our own department. They wanted us to focus on every department and then get upset when we don't, you know, finish our work in our specific department. She's following me around the store, pressuring me, saying, hey Issa, are you done with this? Hey Issa, are you done with that? Hey Issa, are you done with this? You know, Issa, why aren't you doing this? Issa, what have you got done? Issa, you haven't done anything in the past 30 minutes. Issa, Issa, Issa. And I'm just like getting annoyed because at this point, I'm not even answering her. You know what I'm saying? She could tell that I'm annoyed. She's like, Issa, you seem kind of irritable today. Like, is there something wrong with you? And I was just like, you know, disgusted. I couldn't even look in her face because it got to the point where she was following me and now she was making me uncomfortable. After the weekend was over, my supervisor calls me into the office. And when my supervisor called me in the office, this is what he said to me. He's like, Issa, so what happened over the weekend? And see, one thing I don't like about this supervisor is that he likes to act like he don't know what's going on. And then he liked to try to talk sugar honey iced tea, because I'm not gonna curse in this video. I don't feel like they deserve all of my energy to be getting upset, and I'm not upset, I'm just stating the facts, you know. But he would be the one to talk the most sugar honey iced tea, but he would try to talk to you and make it seem like he's being neutral in this situation and act like he doesn't know what's going on. He just want to be able to tell you about yourself, basically. I proceed to tell him what's going on. I just want to know why she was following me around the store and what the issue is, because I don't feel comfortable by being followed around the whole entire store. You know, I just feel like it made me feel unsafe. Then he proceeds to tell me, oh, I didn't know about any of this information. You're just telling me what happened right now. Well, I'm gonna give you the advice that I gave my little brother. And see, one thing I don't like about people at Target is that they try to talk to you like you're their child. I'm not your child, okay? I'm not your child. Don't disrespect me because you don't know me. You don't know me. You don't know me. So, like, okay, thank you very much. But he proceeded to say to me, I'm gonna give you the advice that I gave my brother. If you don't look in the mirror and see that everything is perfect, then you need to reevaluate your whole life. So when he told me that, I genuinely felt like somebody had slapped me in the face, yo. That's what I felt like. So you know what I did? I put my head down like this, like, cause at that moment I wanted to go off. But you know, I had to keep my composure. Because at this point, I'm telling you that the HR followed me around the whole store. That made me uncomfortable. And your response is that I have to reevaluate my whole life? Like, are you kidding me? I was just like, okay. And I know the person that is talking to me should not be telling me that I need to reevaluate my whole life. Because if you guys were to see who was the person that was telling me this, if you guys were to generally see the person that was telling me that I need to reevaluate my whole life, you guys will be like, like, it's so funny. I didn't even give him a response, because at this point I'm just like, okay. It got so bad to the point where, like, whatever the supervisors would tell me, I wouldn't even respond to them. He would say, how are you? Okay. He's like, just okay? Okay. That's all I would say, because I was just tired of him. How do you ask me a question about what happened and then tell me you don't know nothing about it and try to, like, basically tell me that I'm the one who told him about it? So how did you know something happened this weekend? Like, it didn't make any sense to me. So I was just like, okay, whatever. You know, I walked out of the office, and at this point I was so annoyed. So what I did was I called corporate, because there's no way that you're gonna talk to me nasty, okay? You've been giving me issues since we started, you know, and you've been doing the most and following me around the store and, you know, just doing all these things. At this point, it's harassment. I feel unsafe. I feel uncomfortable. So I called corporate and I let them know. You know, after I called corporate, guys, the owner of the store, I guess he's the owner, whatever, because he made it very clear to me that he was the owner. He said to me, I own this store, you know, and do you know the accusations that you made about this store are very serious? Did you know that saying that you work in a hostile environment is very serious? And I said, yes, it is. And he was like, well, just know that every time you make a complaint to corporate, the corporate is going to call me and let me know, and everything has to go through me. So if you have an issue, just speak to me. He was basically trying to let me know, don't call corporate against this, because, you know, if you call corporate, you're gonna have to deal with me, and you don't want to deal with me. That's basically what he was trying to say. But see, you're not gonna put fear in me, because, you know, the only thing that I fear is God. Okay, that's it. So, you know, I was not scared of being fired. I wasn't scared of being this, because essentially, once I start to get a dry feeling about my job, once I start to get this feeling of like, you know, I don't want to be here, once I start to get this feeling of like I feel uncomfortable, the thing is, I don't care if I'm fired. Once I don't care, I just don't care anymore. You know, there was so many times that I was gonna quit anyway, and I had already been like interviewing prior to being fired, you know, because I was gonna quit. I got a job the very next day after I got fired. Hallelujah. Look at how God works. God blesses his children. After I called corporate, you know, everybody started chilling for a while, and everything was all good for a little bit. You know, everything was just kind of like low-key, but I could still see them trying to, you know, belittle me and basically trying to, you know, find any which way to come try to talk to me and try to look for problems. But whenever they would try to do I wouldn't even pay them no mind. Let me tell you about when a woman is fed up and she don't argue with you, and this is not even like just with your man, this is with anything. When a woman is fed up, she not even gonna argue with you, and that's how I felt. Like, I was already ready for anything that was coming. After that, you guys remember when I was told that if I called out one more time, I would get fired. Let's say it's July 30th. July 29th, maybe? It was Friday that I called out. I called out because I had bad cramps and I couldn't make it. I couldn't move. You know, it was a medical reason. And so they was like, okay, I'll let the supervisor know. And they was like, okay, whatever. So I went in the next day. This is what happened. So I went in the next day and I clocked in, which is odd that they let me clock in and then they fired me, but okay. I went to the office and one of the supervisors, not my supervisor, but I guess one of the stores or what supervisor, I don't know. He came up to me and was like, so what was the discussion that you had with? First of all, he was extremely rude. What was he rude about? I don't know. Me and him never had any issues, and even if we did have any issues, it doesn't give him the right to just talk to me the way he wanted to talk to me. So I was just so confused about that. And he was like, okay, so what was the reason you called out? I was like, well, I had very bad menstrual cramps, and I'm pretty sure he knew the reason that I called out, because those people in Target like to talk. Like, they talk. Everybody talks, okay? Like, everybody talks. Everybody know everything about everybody, and that's kind of one of the reasons why I really didn't like a lot of the stuff that went on at Target, is because, you know, everybody felt like they know everybody. You don't know me, boo. You don't know me from a can of worms. I ain't even from here, okay? So y'all need to stop that. Well, Target has a very strict policy for people and their attendance, so we're going to have to let you go because on July 1st, you came in 8 minutes late. Looking up because it's coming back to me. On July 1st, you came in 8 minutes late, okay? And the machine or the clock, the time clock, and the time clock says that you were 3 minutes late, but you were actually 8 minutes late. Make that make sense. Make that make sense. The time clock says you were 3 minutes late, but the time clock was wrong. What? 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 So he basically, I was not 8 minutes late to work. I wasn't 8 minutes late, like, really? He's like, yes, you were. I checked it twice. And he kind of seemed like he tried to cut me off with his words. You know what I'm saying? Like, he tried to cut me off with his words. So I didn't even argue with him. After he said that, I'm just like, okay. And I walked out because he was basically looking at me in the face to look to start an argument with me. He was looking at me in the face to basically see me get upset. He was looking at me in the face. You know how you could tell somebody trying to get a reaction out of you? That's what he was trying to do. And I wasn't gonna do that. I wasn't gonna give him that power. I walked out and I went to my house. I grabbed some coffee, some iced coffee. And that was that. For anybody who wants to know, I got fired because I called out due to my menstrual cramps. And the funny part about it is that, you know, the supervisors up in there have favoritism. You know, they have their little cliques and they go around changing schedules for people if they like them. Not that I needed my schedule changed, but, you know, if that was the case and I was on their good side, they would have changed it for me. But since I wasn't on their good side, you know, I was not good enough for them, and so I wasn't in their clique. I wasn't trying to stay behind, so they wasn't gonna try to make things easier for me since they wanted me out of there anyway. But see, what they don't know is that I knew a lot of the stuff that was going on behind the scenes, how some people would go in and change people's time clock schedules, and you know, some people wouldn't even call out of work, and they didn't care that those people didn't call out of work, but they would come in the next day as if nothing. And I knew this one girl who, she didn't even quit, like she just left, you know, and they were basically calling to figure out where she was and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure that if I would have left and I wouldn't have called to let them know, they would not have even cared that I was gone. You know what I'm saying? This is why they say, you know, if you died tomorrow, your job would not care, your employer would not care. You know what I'm saying? They would just look for somebody to replace you, and that's perfectly okay. You know what I'm saying? Because see, the thing about me is, when I lose a job, which this is my first time being fired, like, the thing about me is I don't necessarily feel hurt when you fire me, because my end goal was never to work for Target for the rest of my life. That was never my end goal. My end goal is not to be working retail for the rest of my life, baby. It's not. So I had literally prayed to God. Like, if you're spiritual, you know about praying at 3 in the morning. This was the time that Jesus prayed, you know. And literally, I told God, I was like, please remove anything in my life that is not going to benefit me in the long run. And lo and behold, Target fired me the next day. While I was at Target, all it did was mold me. You know, it made me a stronger person because of the things that I went through. You know, if anybody knows my character, if anything that I learned at Target was not to argue with people. I'm more than that, you know. I am a goddess, you know. I am loved and embraced by a lot of people. And I'm going to take my love and my gracefulness and my goddessness elsewhere, to where they deserve me, to where they're going to treat me better. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for the experience. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the doors you guys have opened for me, you know, elsewhere. But thank God for the person I am today, and thank God for him allowing me to have this opportunity to mold me even more in the character that I am today. I've been traveling the world this summer and visiting places that I have not been. So I'm happy, like I am truly happy. I don't know if you guys can tell, I'm in good spirits, you know. And thank you guys so much for supporting me on my life journey. I like to go ahead and share the good and the bad things that happen to me. You never want to work in a work environment where you feel like you continuously have to take breaks from that work environment in order to have some good mental health. And if you stop caring about something and you become numb or immune, that's not healthy. You know, I'm not saying to leave your job automatically, but definitely start looking. Thank you guys so much for watching this channel. This is the reason why the beauty girl got fired. You know, I heard through the grapevine, well, people have been telling me that everybody wants to know why the beauty girl got fired, and I heard that still till this day, this is what everybody is still talking about, because people talk to me and they let me know. So everybody has been talking about me and wondering the reason that I got fired, and just direct them to this video. This video will let you know why I got fired. And it's a stupid reason to get fired, but I'm thankful. Thank you for setting me free. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Like, subscribe, comment, and share, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys. Mwah. We got some water. Are you ready?